Okay guys, so I've been having serious issues with fungus gnats and we just keep having more rain. So I got these little yellow sticky traps and I put one on there last night and I ended up going inside because I started getting bit up by mosquitoes. But I'm going to show you the one I put on last night and I'm going to show you what it looks like now. Here's the thing I put on last night. It caught flies and fungus gnats, so yay. I'm going to put these like literally everywhere. Can y'all see all of those fungus gnats? This is insane. What? Ow, he hit my ear. There's so many. It's already started catching some. They're working, maybe not quite to the degree that I was wanting them to. I did spray the surface of the soil with some neem, but I still see stuff everywhere. This has by far been like really frustrating in terms of gardening this year. Honestly, wow, it's so bright. If I had issues last year, I probably just wasn't noticing it as much. Another thing I'm thinking is that I have nothing covering the surface of the soil. I don't have mulch or anything, which is not something that you really want to do. You want to have straw, something put over the surface of the soil. You don't want the dirt naked like that. So that's something I need to look into rectifying pretty quickly. So I put out those little sticky traps. I'm gonna keep looking to see what else I can do. I think there's like a beer trap that you can make. But I did want to show you guys how I prune my tomatoes. Some of the things that I learned from Jess from Roots and Refuge. And so this is kind of going to be more along the lines of a tomato video. So I'm going to flip this around really quick and give you guys some of my best tips that aren't mine, that I learned from someone else. Of course, I need to start off by saying that this is my first year growing tomatoes in containers solely. So, you know, I can give you my pointers, but I'm no expert on this. But the first thing I'm going to say, and this is something I learned from Jess, is that while your tomatoes are developing, they're growing their root system and you're wanting them to get nice and big, you want to come and actually pinch off the first buds, which, it's so hard to do because you're like, oh no, those are going to be tomatoes. You want to go ahead and pinch them off. Whoop, there we go. So I'm just going around and pinching off. Let's see if I can find any more. Like the buds that are coming in right now. Let's see, there's some. Whoop, there we go. There's some right there. Nope, those are leaves, just kidding. Next thing would be, depending on if you're wanting a tall tomato plant or you're wanting a really bushy one, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take off your suckers. And a sucker stem, let me see if I can show you this right here. Okay, so here's our main stem, right? Let me back this up. Here's our main stem. It's right here. It's this one. Now you have these bottom, it's really hard to see what I'm doing. These bottom stems right here and right here. These little ones that are coming up, those are called sucker stems. So I could actually take this right here. In fact, I will, because I want this to grow up. I can take this and stick it in some water, and all those little hairs, see that? They want to be roots. This will turn into another plant. You'd have another whole plant off of this. And so all of these little suckers right now, I'm going to take off for now. Some of them, I think I might let them just do what they do and let it be a bushy plant. But for the most part, for right now, I'm going to go ahead and take off like these little ones down here. Put those in some water. Not that I need more tomato plants right now, because I don't. With those sucker stems that, let's see, like this right here, that will end up creating like another main stem like this and produce more tomatoes, which is great if that's what you're wanting for your plant. I want mine to be taller, so I can stake them up with some trellising and keep a lot of airflow in there. So I'm actually taking those out, and I'm taking out these lower stems. Even this big one right here. Oh gosh, you guys, it smells so good. You start pruning tomatoes, you just get that amazing, I don't even know how to describe it, but if you've grown tomatoes, you know what I'm talking about. But remember, depending on if you're wanting a, bushy tomato plant, it's kind of going to go wild and do its own thing. You can leave all of those on there. If you want it to grow taller to where you can stake it to a trellis, you can pick off all of those suckers. Another reason for pruning them heavily is that tomatoes require a lot of airflow around their stems. They're notorious for getting blight. They don't like getting their leaves wet. So if you have a ton of stems and a ton of leaves and they're dealing with a lot of rain and stuff like that, and you're not getting enough airflow in between the leaves and the stems, you may end up with blight, and blight will just decimate your tomato crop. Another really important thing is that when you're going through and you're going to water your tomatoes, never water them just straight over the plant, you know, hitting everything. You always want to water just at the base, which is another reason to have this area with nothing on it, because you can easily water that. And if you notice, a lot of times when you have tomato plants, the lower branches, stems, will end up looking super unhealthy compared to the top ones. So you can just save yourself the trouble and go ahead and keep them pruned. Okay, my last and final tomato tip. I don't actually know 100% why you should do this. I'm just assuming that it's because of calcium and nutrients. But I learned from Jess, I think it was like maybe 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember what year I learned about putting a raw egg underneath your tomato plant. So this is a 2-part tip. Gosh, you're worse than the kids. So when you, oh my gosh, when you go to plant your tomato, you're gonna dig down pretty far and take a raw egg. If you have farm fresh eggs, I would suggest doing that, not store-bought. Crack your tomato, like not all the way, don't like crack it open and drop it, but like crack it and set it in the dirt, and then take your tomato plant and you plant it in there. So I'm not exactly sure what that does. I know that the eggshell provides calcium, which is something that tomatoes definitely need. So I'm assuming it has something to do with that. Jess did say to crack it because she feels like it helps not take quite as long to break down. Because I have planted some eggs, that sounds funny. I've planted some eggs where like I've dug through the dirt the next year and there's just like a whole egg there. I'm like, well, that's gonna smell horrid. So cracking it and starting that process helps a lot. So the second part of this tip, if you see how much I've pruned this, if I were to take this one and plant it right now, I could plant it literally like up to here. It would make it look so small, but it would give it so much depth. Roots would spring out from this whole area right there, and it would give it such a solid root system. So whenever you're planting your tomatoes, don't, like if you have one like this, don't just pop this out and then be like, okay, soil up to here. No, do the soil like all the way up to there. Trust me, it'll be good.
Do it.
It'll do good things. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed my tomato tips. Don't be afraid to prune heavy. Pull those sucker stems off. Right now, I would be picking off your buds to give them more time to focus on growing and not producing fruit. And make sure you plant deep and plant that raw egg. So yeah, all right, guys, bye. Also, really quick, you guys, we are going to be selling our RV and getting a larger one, still a lightweight one, but one that has an actual wall and a door for the master bedroom. Oh my gosh. I heard you coming. I knew you were coming to do a attack smile. There you go, J.A. There's your attack smiles from Heath. So I was just telling them about the RV that we found a couple that we love. And we just think it'll be so much better for our family, more conducive to just, you know, mom and dad having their own space and the kids having their own space. So we kind of hate that we're having to do this because we've only had our RV for like 7 or 8 months, and it's a beautiful RV that we put so much work into. It's just not big enough for us. Maybe if we were only using it for camping, you know what I mean? Like on the weekends, that kind of thing.
If it weren't for the purpose that we need it for, it would be an entirely different obviously completely different circumstances, and we wouldn't even think twice about doing this.
Yeah. So hey, if you are interested in an incredibly beautiful renovated 2019 travel trailer with double full-size bunks and a regular queen-size bed, let us know. We are going to be doing a private sale. So if you're not interested and you know someone who's interested, let us know. And if you're not interested and you don't know someone who's interested, can you please just pray that Abba would bring the right people to buy this RV?
Do that.
Do something for us. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed my tomato tips, and I hope they were helpful in some way.
Don't forget to flip this.
All right. Shalom, guys.